Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. If you're new to cryptocurrency and you want to learn more, subscribe, hit the bell notification and press all. It's greatly appreciated if you do that. Obviously hit a thumbs up as well if you like my stuff. Now we're going to talk about PundiX and FunctionX. What are they? Why are they different? And I'm going to mainly focus this video on FunctionX. I've done quite a few PundiX videos in the past, but FunctionX not really talked about. I'm going to show you how you can stake it. I want to show you what it is and why it will work, and also how you can actually buy it if you're interested. So let's get started. Right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about FunctionX and what is it and why, all that good stuff. But first of all, I want to mention that it is a part of the PundiX ecosystem. It's going to be run on a different way and a different systemized element, basically. So you got decentralized payments, XPOS, essentially a little POS machine, PundiX, where you can, simply use it. And I'm going to quickly just bring all this up. So we've spoke about this quite a lot. So if you're new to my channel and you've just come across this video, go through it and you'll see PundiX videos. I've probably linked a few somewhere in and around the cards just for the purpose of this video. But the fundamentals of it is basically that use digital currency anywhere, anytime. And borderless payments, ecosystem beyond fiat, all that kind of good stuff, where it is a genuine machine. I'm just going to get it up one tickle. There you go. So that's what it is. If you've never actually seen that before, welcome to the world of future payments, hopefully, using this system, and it works on your phone very, very well. Now if you check out the screenshot on the image that you're watching, that is the wallet, okay? That is my wallet. I've got a little bit in there, and I am staking FunctionX token. I'm going to show you how you can do that. It's very, very easy, and it's a bit extra for your portfolio. So this is kind of PundiX. Now this is all I'm going to talk about PundiX. I'm going to zip through it and go, right, let's go into FunctionX, which is this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the staking element first, okay? So if you want to earn money for just holding PundiX, you need to be able to do something first. It's only for a limited time, and I'm going to click onto it here. It's probably not got much time left now, so yeah, it's been doing it for a while. So you've lost a few months, but you've got nearly 9 months to go. So what is it? You can basically, like this in the image, you've got that. You hold your PundiX in the X wallet. I do not hold it in the X wallet. I have it, however, synced to my ETH wallet. Okay, so I've got it because it's in an ERC20 token still. This bit, just going to put it out there. You can sync it to your X wallet. Okay, it's all verified and approved and all that good stuff. It's already in there, and I am staking FX token. FX token, as it stands, is currently worth 68 cents. So it's not bad, and I've gained quite a few little extras for free. So this is kind of how it all works. Now that is the guide to the staking, okay? You can convert it into here as well if you so wish to. So what you can do is you can go, right, I say for example you hold 1 million, okay, PundiX. You can stake the current value over to FX tokens if you want to. Just basically convert it right over. So it's not so much staking, this is a staking element. So you're holding, so let's just get that clear. You hold PundiX, you get an element of this as like kind of them staking it, okay? The way the system works, the ecosystem. This is where you go, right, you know what, let's press the self-destruct button and let's go, right, I don't want PundiX anymore, I want FX token. I can convert it like for like swap, boom, over into there. So that's it. Okay, now I'm not going to get into the technical jargon of it because this is the ecosystem. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, such as IPFS nodes. I want to talk about that in this video, so stick with me with this. There's a lot of technical jargon, on this video. So if you don't understand it, there's plenty of documentation on the website, such as the concept papers and all that kind of good stuff, where you can actually physically look at it. So in terms of it, it is a full ecosystem. It's a fully decentralized ecosystem, which is one thing that I like about it. It has its own product as well, which is coming out, and it's also linked to the XPOS, which I just mentioned with the PundiX system. But in terms of how it will work, I'm going to get into that. But this is kind of some jargon that I'm just kind of scrolling through. There's a lot of stuff here, but it is a separate token compared to PundiX. Be aware of that, but it works in a similar sort of vein where it will be used to kind of do elements of the processing, the systemization of it all, the usage. So let's go back to the start. Let's just talk about it in a very, very brief. Let's go back to the start. So that's how you can earn it if you want it, if you hold and PundiX. So let's get that stuff out of the way. Now, what is it? It is basically around the decentralization of the internet, blockchain internet. FunctionX will be the leader, will be leading the charge to power this new era of the decentralized world. Every app, every image, every data bit byte on the internet will be decentralized. That is the aim, okay? And this is something that I'm kind of a little bit interested in, because I do think the censorship in the internet and all that kind of controlling element, you've seen it all before with certain elements of, you know, data breaches. You can't put this on the internet, you'll get banned, all that good stuff. This aims to stop that, and they have also got this to help them. The first blockchain phone. Okay, so this is kind of the element of where we're going with it. Now, this is almost out. Almost out. Blockchain phones are interesting. They're kind of starting to dribble onto the market, but this is one of them. And this is the one that's fully backed by a token, FunctionX, which we're going to be talking about. So, in elements of this, I want you to be fully aware that this is not out yet. This is still speculation value. Do not invest your hard-earned cash on the concept of a phone that is not being released yet. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, but it's a very good step forward for the decentralization of the internet, and also product use for main usage. Consumers, people, which is good. Now, I'm just scrolling through here. So this is kind of how it works. Now, it's a nightmare. So you go on YouTube, you go on this, that, and the other, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You got these little aliens that are running it for you. Okay, what they do is they go, yes, no, I don't like that. It's abusive. It's this, that, and the other. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. But you know, they obviously block it. Now, yes, you've got to have a degree of censorship everywhere. You cannot just put anything on the internet. It's kind of not the game. But when you've got real stuff and then them profiting from your data and stuff like that, that is where it gets a bit interesting. Now, when you talk about this is kind of how it works. It'll work on separate nodes, and I'm going to talk about those separate nodes in a minute. It gets quite confusing. It works in a similar vein as how Bitcoin works, where they're all nodes and they're all kind of, you know, individual hashes of blocks on the chain. There's not so much nodes, we know that, but miners, okay, but they're just known as nodes in this one. It's a different concept. If I'm too advanced for you, sorry. But the way it works is that on the Bitcoin network or even the Ethereum network, you get individual miners. They are all working separately in separate locations. This is the same for nodes, okay? So they're all separate. You cannot take away one single point of failure. This is kind of how decentralization works, where they're all running out all over the place, but if you target one, it still runs. Make sense? Hope it does. So how this will work, it'll basically run through each node, it'll verify and validate and all that kind of information, and it'll keep it running online. The decentralized internet will mean it will look after itself. It won't have any sort of issues of selling data, any kind of misconception of elements of content, all that kind of cool and funky stuff. Now, this is an example here of how it will kind of work and how the blockchain will kind of see it, and messages can be sent through the blockchain where it won't be edited, it won't be compromised, it won't be all this, that and the other, so it can't be used in a harmful way. Perfect. So this again is a traditional way of how it will all work. It goes onto databases, PHP, APKs, and then it'll kind of be held and stored forever, and anyone can get a hold of that. When you look at the blockchain side of it, it's totally different. So I want to talk about this in a minute, but this is kind of how it'll work. It'll work in the same language, it'll go through the nodes, it'll go through the chain, and it'll kind of stay in a kind of element of a Docker, and it'll be kind of housed securely, safely, and it cannot be infiltrated, which is the element of it. So this is kind of it, okay? Simple. You got the X phone. XPOS is based on the PundiX system, we know that, and then obviously you got the nodes where they'll all be running in sync essentially. So all the XPOS, all the X phone data, it'll be run through these nodes, and I would highly advise you to read this, but I'm not going to go through it in this video. So in terms of the vision, I've already mentioned it, the decentralization of the internet. This is quite a good read, and I want you to go through this to kind of understand what the functional problems are of the internet at the minute. And you see it all the time. All the time, you don't have to look too far. You see all kinds of privacy issues, the lack of transparency, that what you want to read is not obviously what you get, and this kind of aims to solve that, so you can control the data and the systemization of what you want to view by what you want to view, by not being pointed in the wrong direction. That's how the internet works. So it is very, very out there in terms of how much documentation's on this website. There's a lot. I expect you to read it in your own time. Obviously, do your own research. Do not invest your hard-earned cash on what I'm saying on YouTube. But again, have a look. There's a lot of information here. So how does a coin work? I've already said this. Yes, it has a function. It has a functionality. It works in such an easy way. Decentralization of the internet, fees, usage, all that kind of good stuff, XPOS and all that other stuff. But I want to talk about some specific things now. So this here, the ecosystem, 5 elements. You've got the operating system, you've got the public blockchain, the FXTP, the FX Docker, and the IPFS. There you go. So I want to talk about each one. Okay, so they're kind of all here. So the operating system is going to be Android modified blockchain enabled operating system. Okay, because obviously Android is open source. You can fiddle around with it quite a lot. Users can switch seamlessly between blockchain and traditional mode. That is a very, very good element that I like, because not everything's going to be blockchain enabled. It's like 5G. Let's talk about 5G. There's only, what, 10 devices at the minute which are 5G enabled. They're not even out in the UK yet. What is the point? But again, over time, future-proof, essentially, it will gradually get there. So how will it work? Okay, so every bit can be fully decentralized, including calls, browser, data storage, and text messages. I like that a lot. I hate the fact that I was in the military, okay? Let's talk randomly, let's go off the cuff. I was in the military and I knew a lot about OPSEC, operations, security, and all that good stuff. Now, I was always told elements of where I was going, I cannot do certain things on my phone. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Until I went into the intelligence briefs to see what was actually compromised by other intelligent forces via social media, via the apps that you use, it scared the living balls out of me, basically. It absolutely gave me the absolute bollock scratch, and it did. This kind of comforts me to know that the systemization's in place where people can have data safely secured on a blockchain. So all of this kind of element here on the function X kind of, the operating system, makes things really, really hit home for me from a few years ago, learning all about this. So it's good, and I like to use encrypted stuff. Even though it says WhatsApp is encrypted, I still don't put certain things on WhatsApp just in case it's not. I don't believe them. I just don't. Anywho, let's talk about this again. So all the apps as well, the dApps essentially can also be, decentralized within this kind of operating system. It's very, very straightforward. So what is the FXTP? I'm not a fan of these abbreviations, by the way. It's very, very FX transmission protocol. As the name suggests, it's a fully decentralized transmitting protocol. This is what I like. It's fully decentralized because of the way it runs on the nodes. Similar to the HTTP, it will allow total decentralization, peer-to-peer transmission of data in a distributed network. It is pretty awesome. It's very similar to how Bitcoin runs now. It's fully decentralized, peer-to-peer. It's run. Bitcoin's obviously run on miners. This is run on nodes. It's slightly different, but ultimately it's the same end goal: decentralization, protection, security, and also very, very secure. The Docker. This is where it's an open platform for people to build a dApp. Like Ethereum, you can build on it. Like Matic Network, you can build on it. This is brilliant. This is going to create mainnet kind of adoption long term. So you're going to have it on mainnet, obviously, but to allow other companies, other elements of applications, usage, services, etc. to run on it for their phone is key. So that's a gateway to that. Helpful, useful, needed. This is a bit that I'm kind of like, what on earth is this? This is kind of the interesting stuff. The Interplanetary File System is a protocol and network designed to store data in a distributed system. Basically, a blockchain. What is a blockchain? Distributed chronological ordering of data, essentially, in a systemized process where it cannot be amended, fully immutable. So it's helpful. Now, this is kind of the element what kind of I liked. In the spirit of Satoshi Nakamoto, it is very similar to how blockchain was set up in terms of decentralization, but the internet is one of the biggest things that's kind of blowing up and there's been no rules, there's been no control, no protocols to kind of keep everything at bay. So now I'm going to go over the FX IPFS, which is basically the bit that I really, really like, and also the DDocker. Why? Let's talk about them, okay? Now this is kind of, I've spoke quite a lot recently about all this kind of stuff. This is the cream that goes on the top, okay? Save the best till last. So this is kind of the distribution area of the blockchain, how it works. So if you look at Bitcoin, when you do a payment on Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency payment solution system, they've got to validate and verify that you've got the money to be able to do it. And this does it in the same way. So let's read it. Okay, so the abbreviation that is really irritating to put out all the time is a protocol and network designed to store data in a distributed system. A person who wants to receive a file will call an identifier, a hash, of the file, and the abbreviation then combs through all the other nodes and supplies the person with the file. So that's kind of like how payment solutions work. You request to pay money, they then check to see if you got the money, they will then call for it, they will receive it, it's done. Bitcoin, it takes a long time to do that. Yeah, it's one of those things. So they're all stored on the network. If you run your own node, your file will be stored on your own node and available for the world to download. In a similar sort of vein, how BitTorrent is still alive and well and has been forever. It's been fully decentralized since. This will allow a more secure and a faster file transfer of the data. Simple, simple, simple. I like it a lot. Decentralized at its finest. Yay! Now, ending. Before we go, I'm going to talk about this quickly. Again, I've already mentioned that this is an element of absolute key success for the future. This is future-proofing it. This is a computer program designed to make it easier to create and deploy and run applications on it, allowing developers to package up and to put it onto the the operating system. Yeah, symbols? I hope it is. Now, this is decentralized. It's an open platform developers to build and obviously put it on there. This, as I've already said, is a decentralized element to secure it and also make it future-proof to allow it to grow. The iOS system, what my phone is, okay, it didn't start off as it is now. It grew. The same as the Android system. This will be the exact same for the blockchain world. This is the start of the blockchain phone industry, where you're going to have these adapted Android blockchains, phones, systems, elements all in there. Yeah. But to allow developers to run and build their own, it's going to make it even better to build their own applications on there for everyone to use. Brilliant. So that's FunctionX, guys. How to buy it? You can go on KuCoin, you can go on Bittrex, you can buy it. But as I've already said, if you buy PundiX, which you can buy on the likes of Binance, KuCoin, other big exchanges, which is they're pretty much on most of them now, you can buy and stake. It's very, very straightforward. You basically buy the token, you hold it in the X wallet, and you ultimately get, your FX for free up until March next year. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It's been a long one. It's quite technical. It's a pain to kind of talk technical because I don't like to overawe everyone. But if you like this sort of stuff, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and check out my other videos. I've spoken a lot about PundiX, so make sure you do check those ones out.